before it ever really does anything. But we are live now on Facebook and YouTube. Usually Twitch is a little bit behind. So, welcome to the show. Very late due to some technical difficulties on my part. Really trying to upgrade the setup here. I literally have a 4K camera sitting here that I can't figure it out. And if you can hear, there's new audio, which was much needed for the whole setup just to make it all sound more crisp, and all of our future podcasts to sound crisp. And yeah, so I am here today with Miss Ashley. She's become one of our good friends over the past almost year now that we've known each other. She came out and helped out on our hemp farm last year for harvest. And ever since then, we've just been kind of connecting. She's helped us with our website because she's very much involved with everything to do with cannabis and CBD compliance. So go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit more for the people that may not know who you are.
Hi, my name is Ashley Boucher. Um, like Adam was saying, I do work in cannabis compliance. I actually became the first accredited responsible vendor trainer in Massachusetts, which
Oh yeah.
is very exciting for me. I am in the process of getting my SEO supplier diversity certification as a minority and female owned business. So I'm very excited about that. Um, I'm also joining the High Dash Curious Network. It's an app, so you can download that. That High Curious Network is a safe place for people to open the discussion about cannabis. If you're curious about using cannabis in any type of way and how you might use that in your everyday life, that's really important because when we talk about compliance, it's important in cannabis, it's important that you're having these conversations because there's a lot that we actually can't say compliantly about how cannabis can help us. So joining that network allows for a community discussion about how cannabis can be used as a medicine without breaking those compliance regulations.
Yeah, it's so important. We I remember in the beginning of like setting up the website and everything, we thought we had our wording all set. It was going to be all good, but we weren't. We had to change a little bit of our writing to make sure that we didn't get in any kind of trouble at all. And that's, like really your forte is trying to figure out um how to word things in a way that you could say the same thing that you wanted to say without getting in trouble essentially.
Yeah, that's tricky. And then the FDA always throws other things like, oh, no, you can't say that word. You can't say that word. But it's kind of like playing a dancing game around what you can say. You have to be very creative about how you say like your products help people. Like saying heal versus soothe, like heal, non-compliant, you can say soothe. But then if you associate that with any specific ailment, like, or if you say it soothes your inflammation, well, then it's like, well, is it a medical product or not? And it becomes very challenging to compliantly market your products because you know it's medicine and you know it helps people, but the FDA limits on how much you can actually say that it helps people. So how do you get that information out? Um, it makes it very challenging. And it's really a disservice to consumers because it's important that we know how this might affect our bodies and
Mhm.
understanding how it's positively affected other people. Cannabis like saved my life, literally saved my life. But I was so afraid to get back into it. I used it as a teenager, early 20s, a lot, but I was really nervous to get back into it because of the stigma associated with it. But once I started doing research and learning, it saved my life. It changed my life for the better. But it's really difficult to find that information and trust the information when the FDA shuts everything down. So it's really tricky. And then finding like which products are actually working well. Like the stuff you get in your gas station that has no CBD in it, that has no therapeutic value to it, but they're allowed to sell that. And then actual true healing products like what you're providing with your hemp farm, you can't say that this actually might help someone. So it sucks.
It's one of those things that's like no matter how many people come to you and say, like, oh my God, your product has been so amazing for us. It's helped us in ways that I can't even thank you for. And we can't even really use that on the website. Like I've been told that we can't even use testimonials. And that to me is like criminal because for I understand it if companies are making medical claims, I understand it why they need to be shut down because that's not good. But if people have experiences with a product and they want to talk about that experience with a product to the world, they should be able to.
They should be able to. But then you have companies that pay people to give those testimonies. So then you kind of don't know, is this a marketing scheme to get the person to purchase this product? So there's like a lot of moving parts to it that it makes it very complicated. So it's really hard unless the testimonial is like, hey, I used your chapstick and it made my lips feel nice and smooth and they were super, I don't know. That's not making any medical claims. But if I was to say, hey, I used your salve and it took away my arthritic pain. Well, this is solving someone's real issue, giving them their life back and their quality of life back. And you can't say that because it's making a medical claim. And according to the FDA, according to the government, cannabis has no medicinal value.
None.
So
None at all. I've never used it as any kind of medicine. I don't think that it's effective for any kind of treatment whatsoever.
it's when we talk about like consumer safety, why don't they make it so that consumers can be protected by shutting down those that are selling stuff in gas stations? um
Courtney says
Use
the
your
FDA is my least favorite thing. Mine too. They
mind you.
approve cigarettes but can't let us talk about the therapeutic benefits of CBD.
Yeah. I really became frustrated and upset with the traditional medical kind of market when um I was consulting with a hematology lab, and every time I would go in there, they're like, "Yeah, we have these pharmaceutical reps that come in here every single day, and they just buy us lunch and do this, and they're pushing all of these medications that have no real therapeutic value to their patients," and that's in my opinion anyway, because a lot of those cancer patients, didn't make it, so um, it was just eye opening for me that I'm like, wait, these pharmaceutical companies can, I don't know, they can just sell whatever they want because it's FDA approved.
Yep.
And FDA approvals and stuff are not,
Consistent.
they're not, they're very, it's very like if you read any of what, their approvals or watch their videos, or they have these crazy charts, a lot of like the medical technology that you have today, that's old technology, and they never actually even tested that. They say, well, it's the same as what was previously approved, so we approve it. Oh, that was the same as what was previously approved, so we approve it. So yeah, there's a lot that I think the FDA is giving a disservice to consumers and to people who need healing. I feel very fortunate that I'm a medical patient in Massachusetts, and so I'm lucky that I get my medication. One thing I will say that for me, being a medical patient in Massachusetts, you know, retail shut down. So imagine if medical was shut down, if I couldn't get my medication, my medication being cannabis, I wouldn't really face any physical effects of withdrawal for me personally. But I've taken antidepressants, anxiety medication, and like health medication that would literally kill me if I stopped taking it. Like if the supply chain shut down, that would kill me. But no doctor actually ever told me that until I tried to stop taking it and I researched it and I was like, this could possibly kill you. I'm like, thank you for not telling me what I was signing up for.
Courtney said that you are adorable, Ashley.
Thanks.
Kelly says that she loves the CBD chapstick. I love our CBD chapstick too. It's one of my favorite products that we have. It's just like you got to use it like once a week. It's kind of like a catch 22 because it's like we don't sell a lot of them. Like once every 3 months, somebody buys it, but like people love it. So it's like a kind of a catch-22. It doesn't make us a ton of money, but it's one of those products that people absolutely love. But
Well,
yeah,
isn't that a good thing that people don't need to buy it, right? Because I actually never ever use chapstick because it always leaves my lips dry. And so then when, for the giveaway that you guys sponsored, which was my whole video on the other thing, I'll explain that in a minute. But I was like, oh, I have some chapstick. Like I brought some chapstick.
oh,
Have all my favorite things with me in my bucket. But I was like, oh my gosh, this chapstick actually makes my lips feel very soft. And then I was like, I didn't have to use it for like a week, and I really pretty much don't have to use it. And I was like, oh, so this actually works. This will probably last me for a very long time. And so yeah, that's why it's probably not your biggest seller. We don't ever stop making it. The
I
other
always said
thing,
medical was a life changer for me with chronic migraines. Keep up the amazing work, guys. Thank you.
and so I have one of these too, right? Your
Hey,
roll-ons.
yep.
I'll tell you. So had some very achy knees, and I was like, all right, I'm going to test this to see if it works. So I put it on my knees, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna test it, right? And then how I knew it worked was because when the pain came back, it was like 5 hours later. So I was like, oh, okay.
It really
Um,
works. It's because it's basically like if you look at it at the cannabinoid content that it has, it's basically the same cannabinoid content as the extra strength salve. So it's kind of like a cheat code, like it's a product that we were able to release for as an under $25 product so we can hopefully get in some gas stations soon. But it was also something that's like this is technically extra strength, and we're really thinking about releasing a 600 milligram pain roller, and that would be like extra. It would be 4 times stronger than our extra strength salve. Crazy.
that would be that would be sweet.
But sorry, I feel like I interrupted you. I just had like a thought, and I was like, haha.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to explain if anybody saw my video, my coming out of the cannabis closet video. And I just wanted to say that you guys had sponsored my little giveaway that I did with that coming out of the cannabis closet video. Um, and that was for the High Curious Network. It was like for their big premiere on 420. Everybody that got your products loves the products anyway. So they got, I don't know, I don't remember all the states, but I know California, maybe Colorado's like five or six different states. So it was pretty cool.
Hell yeah! Thank you so
Thank you
much.
guys for sponsoring that.
Yeah, well, if you do another one, we'll definitely sponsor it again.
Yeah.
Angel says, "I truly believe you two have the power to end the stigma around cannabis." That's awesome. Thank you, Angel.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Um,
I think a big part of that is kind of just talking about your experiences with cannabis, right? So, what was your first experience with cannabis like?
oh, so glad you asked. It's everything I do is probably pretty funny because I'm so ridiculous. But it was when I was in high school. I think I was 17. And I had been completely anti-cannabis, anti-weed. I did not want to ever smoke it because I thought that it was just a bad thing. And then one day I woke up and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try smoking weed today. Um, it was just a weird thought. And then my boyfriend at that time had like crashed his car and he was like, I know you don't like smoking weed, but I just need to smoke weed. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And so we smoked weed. I got a cheeseburger. We smoked weed down at Little Bay in Fairhaven. I don't know if you know where that is. And it was wonderful. And I was like, I know I'm stoned because I'm in the car and the trees are outside. It was the first time I smoked weed. And it was a love story up until I got pregnant. And then I was like, oh, I can't smoke weed. And then I was like a mom, and I'm like, I can't do it. Moms don't do this. Um, and then I got sick, and I was having a lot of, mental health issues and physical issues, and people were trying to get me back into cannabis, and now I fell back in love with cannabis, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely a really cool story. How complicated does it get being also not only a mother but a Christian and being somebody who really enjoys cannabis and uses it medicinally?
Well, we'll see. No, it's no, it was hard. Um,
This is kind of like
and
your coming out party, right?
yeah, so I came out like on the High Curious Network, which I kind of did
Yep.
like some promoing here, but then I was like all in my safe place there. And people know, like they know, but we don't really talk about it. So it's more like I'm becoming more,
Open.
yeah, which is scary, but it's exciting, because I believe in the power of this plant. And the more research I did, there's like no there this is a man-made thing to hate this plant, because it has all of the goodness found in every like other single plant in nature is like all concentrated into this one beautiful plant. Um, so it's tricky because people have an opinion of it, and I don't want to force the change of any opinion, but I just want to be who I am, stand in my journey and my truth. And if that changes your opinion, then I'll be glad to share my experiences. And if it doesn't, then that's fine. That's your truth and that's your thing. But I think I struggled internally with it. I'm like, this makes me a bad mom. Well, no, it actually makes me a better mom, because the wine or the booze that I would have, because this is okay, this is socially acceptable, made me a terrible mom. It made me a terrible wife. It made me a terrible person. It made me feel terrible, and it didn't make me a good Christian either, right? So cannabis, it's changed my life, and that it's just for the better. So
Hmm.
a better mom, a better Christian, a better person. Um, I don't want to have to struggle with that stigma anymore. And I don't think anybody else should either. So that's why I'm sharing, my story and my.
I agree with what Kelly said. Cannabis moms, they need to support each other. Like I think everybody in cannabis really needs to come together for each other. Like when you see somebody that's down, help them up. That's just like simply how this works. And I it's funny because I don't think there's too many industries in the world like the cannabis industry, like where everybody is so willing to be able to help each other. It's not really even an industry. It really is a community, and it just so happens to turn into an industry. So it's kind of a beautiful thing to see, and the amount of people that preach that this plant is has saved their life, has changed their way of life. I know with me, I can't eat when I if I don't smoke. My stomach is screwed up from taking years, like from years of taking Excedrin migraine when I used to have hot headaches every day. I would take like 4 to 8 of them a day, and each Excedrin migraine is like my neurologist said it was like 2 cups of coffee each pill, and I was taking 4 to 8 of them a day. And it's also high in aspirin, and it's also high in acetaminophen. So all those things really screwed me up, and I have like it like created really bad IBS as I'm getting older. It the stomach pains I get, I can't even describe them. I can't even describe them. I've never been scoped or anything, so I don't know if they like created an ulcer or what the issue is, but without smoking, I can't eat. But like Courtney will see it. I'll go downstairs, I can't eat, and I'm like, "Oh." I'll come upstairs, I'll do a dab, appetite. My stomach doesn't really hurt. I'm able to eat the whole meal perfectly fine. Like it really is miraculous what this can do. And that's not even like the most serious of my stuff, as serious as that sounds, like for anxiety. Oh my god, the first time I took like our CBD that was higher strength, I felt the anxiety go away. I felt it. Like I literally, I sat, I took it, I waited like a half hour, and then my mind kind of just stopped, and I was like, "Is this what not having anxiety's like?" Jared says he was the same with headaches. Sherry says hi. Green Nurse says hey. Hey, Green Nurse. Hey, Sherry. Thank you guys. Well, thank you, ladies, for showing up. We've actually had a pretty steady amount of viewers on this. I didn't realize how much easier it was to share from my laptop than my phone. But like I was able to share it to all the groups without missing a beat talking to you. Like this was great. This was great.
I shared it on my phone real quick when we started. As soon as I saw it pop up, I was like,
Yeah.
share.
You're
So
like, boom, gotta get that done.
yeah.
So where, so you're working with the CCC right now, right? I thought you were one of the
So
compliance trainers.
yeah, so this is it's a misconception. Like everybody thinks that I work for the CCC, but I do not work for them. I am accredited by them. So I am not an agent of the CCC. And if you don't know what the CCC is, that is the Cannabis Control Commission. They regulate the sales of cannabis in Massachusetts.
Mm.
But no, I designed a responsible vendor training program. I submitted it and became accredited by them. So I don't work for them, but I'm accredited by them, and I am my own company. So I don't know if that clarifies it, because a lot of people think like, oh, you're with the CCC, and it's like, well, no, I'm still a private company, and I just have this accreditation, which I do have to keep active. And if you want to hear a really cool story about my responsible vendor training program, I will share one with you.
Ooh,
So,
please.
so when I first learned about the program, I was working for an establishment, and one of the recommendations are like, I mean, one of the requirements is that you can't work for an establishment. So, like, I left my job. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do it. Um, and I spent like a week, writing this program, just like locked in my. I do everything like in my bedroom. That's my office. So I was like locked in my bedroom for a week. And right before that, my computer had broken. And so I had a friend like let me borrow a computer because I couldn't buy another one. And so I wrote that on like $100 Chromebook um, in a very short amount of time. And I prayed for it, and then it was an amazing blessing to be accredited. And the funnier thing is that I didn't even know, like nobody ever told me that, oh yeah, well, you're going to be on the meeting minutes. Somebody called me and was like, oh, so I saw that you're getting accredited for this and we need this training. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay. And then I hung up the phone and I was like, oh my God. And I called my husband and he thought I was like dying. But it was a pretty cool moment. So
Hmm. Yeah, that definitely clarifies it a lot. So you are an important asset to the CCC to make sure that all of the dispensaries stay compliant, essentially.
yeah. So they have to take a responsible vendor training program. Um, at license, usually, before they get their final license. It's weird now because, the program came out after people got their licenses, and now, so it's weird, but the way it's written is that they have to take it before they get their final license, and then every agent has to take it yearly. So every year you have to take responsible vendor training. It's fun. It's a lot of compliance, so I try to make it as fun as possible, and not as boring, because compliance can be very boring. I will say doing it is, I do miss doing it. It's been a while since I've been out there. If anybody's been out there, but one of my favorite things is that it really opens a dialogue between like all of the employees that are in that establishment. They start asking questions, and it's really like exciting to see that, people, because I would say a conversation is really true education, right? Because everything's relative to each other and relative to the situation. And so when people start talking and having that conversation, they open up those doors and windows for, for real education. So that's exciting. That's one of my favorite um, things to see is when they start.
Learning. Yeah. I love educating. I think that's still, after everything, my favorite thing to do is educate. It's like to see people go from not knowing at all to really starting to like put a truer story to cannabis, kind of like this the stigma of it. They're kind of like, "Wait, that's not true? It that it won't kill your brain cells? It won't make you stupid? But uh it can really help people's ailments? What do you mean?" And then they try it for something, and seeing is believing, and all of a sudden they become a preacher of it. It's funny. It's really funny, actually.
It's really funny. I did a class for a police department because I was after there was that New York bust. There was a whole bunch of hemp that got busted, right? They were like, we got all this marijuana off the streets, and I was like, wait, no. Maybe they just need someone to tell them, like, you can't do that, because yeah, you know, it doesn't work that way. And so I emailed a whole bunch of local police departments, and I had one actually respond, and I did it. And they actually loved it. They were like, "This is great." I was supposed to go back, and then this happened. But hopefully it'll start. Once we'll see what happens. But it was great because they don't know. There's a lot that they don't know, and they were actually very willing to learn. And then a lot of them were um, actually like, "Oh, can we use CBD? Like, where can we get this? Like, my doctor said I should use it. Like, we need to use it." So they're actually interested in this plant, but there are restrictions for use for them because they are drug tested, and it's hard to know, will THC potentially end up in your screen, and you can't really say that for sure because there are so many different factors. um but I'm just, things will change one day, but they're interested. A lot of people are interested. So once we see the government start to loosen up these regulations around the plant, I think we'll see a happier and healthier world.
We actually got probably about a week before shutdown, we got shoplifted for the first time at the malls, and the officer came by and was asking a bunch of questions, and I was kind of thinking like he was digging to try to get us in trouble, but really he was asking for himself, and it ended up being that he was too scared with the trace amounts of THC in there to take it. So he was like, I told him that we're working on a broad spectrum line, and that you definitely pass a drug test with it. And he was like, "Oh, I'll just take a card for some other time, maybe." Andrew Nelson says, "We took Ashley's class at my work. It was great, super informative." Ashley, go Ashley! Everybody, throw up hearts in the chat for Ashley.
Yes, throw me hearts.
Got to I better see some hearts. We got to start talking. um, Kellyanne said the medication they had her on made her lose so much weight, made her look like a skeleton. Let me guess. You found cannabis. It gave
Right?
you your appetite back, and you were able to get to a more normal weight. If I predicted it, let me know.
Yeah. There was a time when I couldn't get off of my couch. Like, I would wake up in the morning, I would make breakfast, I would make the kids lunch to go off to school, and then I would sit on the couch all day. I would be lucky if I had enough energy to take a shower, and then my husband would come home from work and he would have to do dinner, do their homework and all of this because either, my head was so bad I couldn't open my eyes because the light, I was so sensitive to the light, or my heart was racing, I once had my resting heart rate at 180 beats per minute. Like that's not normal. I had a lot of GI problems. I once like my whole GI system pretty much shut down for a month, I think was like the longest time. And now if I get any of those little like flare ups, which used to last weeks, it lasts maybe 3 days. So like the quality of my life from like just being bound to the couch to now, oh hey, like I accomplished something big. I couldn't have done it without cannabis. So
Yeah, I completely agree. There's so many days where I've woken up and I'm so sore, I can like barely move, but there's work to be done. Done. There's work to be done. And on a farm, you can't just kind of be like, I'll put it off. Like it's like, no, you have to do this or everything's gonna die and go to shit. So it's like you have to do things and you have to push through. And so many times I would just roll up a joint. I'd go head to the farm and light up the joint while I'm working. A few hours later, I'm like, damn, I'm done. I just worked for like 6 hours and I could barely move before I was smoking. it just it gets me through my whole day a lot, honestly. Like if I feel myself like getting frustrated with my son, I'll come upstairs, do a little dab, go back downstairs, and now I'm more patient and smiley. It's an amazing thing, really, what it does to like completely switch your mindset within a second, especially if you dab. Have you done dabs?
I have.
Ooh.
I have done dabs, but my lungs are not very good. So, like the last time I did a dab, I don't know, I got pleurisy, so I'm not doing that, right? So I say cannabis is, is good, but all the methods sometimes don't agree, right?
Yeah.
It's just you have to know yourself and know your limitations. Like on 420, I took a bong rip and I coughed and I had just eaten dinner. I was
Uh,
out. Oh my gosh, like it was terrible. And then a week later, I did the same thing. And I was like, why did I do this again? So yeah,
like
yeah, I coughed too much.
that's
But
crazy. I wonder what causes that.
yeah, I
You got
have just have really, really bad lungs.
Kelly loves dabs. Kelly, we love you
It's
for loving dabs.
yeah, she was the last one I did a dab with. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
So she's like reliving this moment right now. Oh, I remember that.
No, yeah, well, she wasn't there when I got sick.
uh,
But Andrew was there one time, but a long, long time ago.
Andrew, my Andrew?
No, Andrew Nelson, the one who commented on
Oh,
here.
oh, oh, oh. I say
Ah.
my Andrew, like he's my husband or something. Basically. I say that all the time. It's like I'm in a relationship with Courtney, and then I have like a whole other relationship with Andrew. I even say that to Courtney. I'll be like, no, no, my other significant other.
Yeah, I can imagine you must spend a lot of time because you run a business together.
Oh my god. Yeah. More time than anybody else, including the like before the shutdown. Obviously, as the shutdown happened, we see each other a lot less, but it's still more than anybody besides Nia and Courtney.
Yeah. I don't. So my husband is my business partner. So we're just, yeah, we're always together. So you want to see what
Jared's
I'm
your husband's laughing at my Andrew. Don't
pl-
you laugh at me, Jared, all right? He's my
So
Andrew.
it's funny because he has his Andrew. So
Uh is that him?
um,
Is it Andrew Nelson?
yeah, that story doesn't need to be told.
That's hilarious.
um,
Kelly says it was hilarious too, the story.
yeah.
Oh man. I've seen a few people do dabs and throw up. I've seen a few people do dabs and pass out. It's so funny. I'm having a hard time right now because when I talk, there's a 1 second echo in my ears because I'm like, remember I said like I couldn't get my headphones to work through the microphone. So it's like every time I talk, I can hear myself. So I'm trying to like ignore myself. I'm like, these are the weirdest thoughts ever. Like, I can't make it go away.
Yes,
I'm
you
just
can. Roll it up faster.
I'm just super appreciative of you for being patient with me because everything basically went to shit. I was just like, "Oh my god, I can't get my new camera to work." And then Andrew texts me and says, "Did you flick the button from picture to video?" And then when you were talking one of the times, I got up and got a beer and I checked and I didn't. So I think that might have been the fix, and I'm hoping it is
Nice.
because that would mean besides my headphones working properly, I have everything working, and that means I'm closer.
Yeah, he's probably really good at troubleshooting from working in the lab.
Yes,
Did you
yes,
plug it in? Is it plugged in?
yes.
Believe it or not, sometimes that is really the issue. Um,
Yeah, I worked at AT&T for a long time, and I can't tell you the amount of people that came in with their iPhones and they're like, my, my iPhone shut down. It hasn't been working for days. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything, and then I press the home button and power cycle it, and it restarts, and they're like, what did you do? And I'm just like, this is how you soft reset your phone. If this ever happens again, this is all you have to do. But please come see me.
yeah, I'm pretty like so I'm pretty sure I have done that. Like I was like, oh my gosh, my computer's broken, and I'm like, wait, I didn't charge it. It's dead.
It,
um, yeah, I'm ditzy.
I saw so much of that at the cell phone store. It was so funny. So funny. There was so many like older customers that just didn't get it. And there was also times where I remember this one time in particular, um, where an older couple lost their son, unfortunately, and they called the help desk and they wouldn't cancel the line for free. And they came into the store and they told me that, and I was just like, that's really messed up. So I called the help desk. Mind you, I'm not making money from that. That's not a sale for me. That's nothing for me. I just was like, I know how to talk to these people. I know how to get what I want because I talk to them 5 times a day, and I'm gonna call them. And I went through like three different people, like three different times of calling, and I finally got this lady from Texas, and she's like, "Hey, how's it going? My name's Darla. Hope you're having a great day." And I'm like, "This is the one." So I told her the whole situation. Needless to say, by the end of it, I got all of the charges canceled. I got like the last 3 months refunded back to them from his line and a couple other charges too. And I ended up reconfiguring their bill to save them like $60 a month too on top of it. Didn't make any money off of it. None. But just like the customer service, a few months later, they came back and got like three new lines and a couple upgrades and tablets and the full deal. They would send their friends and family my way all the time. They were like the sweetest old ladies. Well, the sweetest old couple. The old lady was like uh, a nana. She would like I told her I was really close to my nana, and she passed away unfortunately in 2011. And she used to give me like big hugs every time she'd leave the store. She's like, "Oh, Adam, you're so sweet." Like, I miss that. I miss
Do
like.
you?
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Aren't you supposed to be asking me questions? Do you miss or I mean sorry, do you make those personal connections with your clients now, or are you not in the storefront enough to make those connections?
So I do make a lot of connections with a lot of clients. So my main focus for everything is sales and marketing. So I basically handle all of the scheduling and everything to do with employees and the malls. So I'm there a lot, training and just shadowing, just overseeing everything. So up until end of February, I was working a lot of shifts in the malls, and I would see it every day. Every day, there's like some kind of interaction where it was like that, and I was able to, you know, give them a discount or anything, like just to like make their life a little bit easier, and they come back and they're like, oh my god, or they leave a review, because that's the cool thing about using Square. They can leave a review and they don't even have to come back and tell me. Now I know. It's like, oh wow, I had a good experience. There was one night, because I used to work every Wednesday, open to close, and um, there was one Wednesday I had 4 positive customer interactions, 4 like come through on Square, and I was just like, that's insanity. Boy, still got it.
Once a salesman, always a salesman, right? Or
Essentially, and it's like, as a salesperson, I always like, I enjoyed it, but bless you. I think that was a sneeze.
it was a cough, but
Okay.
yeah, I cough really loud, so I was like trying to be dainty about it.
Oh, it's okay. Um, I always enjoyed sales, but I always felt like I didn't feel right about what I was selling. Like, they all have their sketchy ways of selling when you work for big corporations, and it's never 100% honest. Like, I used to catch certain employees adding tablets onto people's line on family plans and shit, just to hit their bonuses, and they would the customer like would never notice, and they would just get away with it. And I'm like, how are you guys allowing this?
I still have a tablet on my account that is broken. Nobody uses because I was like, "Hey, can I cancel this?" Like, well, you never know, you might need it. And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't," and I just never like canceled it. I probably should
You let them sucker you into keeping it.
do because I was like, well, maybe we'll find it. It was lost. It was like it was lost. We couldn't find it, and I was like, well, we'll just cancel it. And then we found it. Oh, I'm glad I kept it, but nobody ever uses it. Like it's so I should have canceled it, but they do sucker you in. I've gotten better at saying no, but yeah,
So
the
my
cell
take,
phone store is the hardest.
and if you work for cell phone stores, or uh, your significant other does, this is some information you could pass on to them, and they're gonna make way more sales. So, what I would do is when a customer came in, I'd be like, "Yo, do you have 5 to 10 minutes for me to look over your account, see if I can save you any money?" And I would look over their account, and at least half the time, I could figure out a way to save them $20 a month. I could save them $20 a month. So, I need to sell tablets. I would say, I have a way to reconfigure your plan to give you more data, give you a tablet, and still save you $10 a month. How does that sound? And they're like, fucking give me 2 tablets. Like, I'm saving $10 a month. Give me that other tablet. All right, here we go. Like, it's just about providing value to people. And if you like genuinely care about your customer's bill, you will sell a shit ton in cell phones.
Yeah, well, people first, people over profits. And it's funny when you choose people over profits, the profits always follow. So you actually don't have to do any of those like shady things in order to make money. It might take a longer time to make money, but it always follows. So
I was
people over
always that salesperson that, like, in the first couple weeks, I would help the rest of the salespeople in my store do well, and then the last 2 weeks, I'd go from like last on the scorecard for the whole company to like number 3 within like a week, and then I'd be in the top 3 the whole month and end up finishing number 1 by the end of the month. And it was my managers used to be like, "Why don't you try harder in the beginning of the month?" I'm like, meh.
why? Why do
Yeah,
I have to?
it's working.
So, this is the only way you should light anything is with one of these flickers. You should
Ooh,
fidget spinner.
I gotta get one of those.
Yeah, I have one for you.
The only other way you should light something is with an Urban Acres lighter.
Well, maybe no. Well, you can put your Urban Acres lighter in here, but
Oh, snap. Best of
ooh,
both
I lost. I'm
worlds.
not a good fidget spinner.
I
Or you
remember.
can get the flicker guys to make you custom flickers that say Urban Acres.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, because it's like this is the funnest thing. A fidget spinner lighter. Fidget spinner lighter.
Oh, I'd probably annoy people so much. Sometimes, like, I have anxiety, and I'll just have stuff in my pocket, and I'll just be like going like this. I'll have my hand in my pocket and just be going like this, just moving it around in my pocket. So like a fidget spinner, I'd just be sitting there spinning it in front of you like the whole time, and they get so annoyed with me. I'm like, this fucking guy.
Well, I don't know. Maybe people get annoyed with me, except I don't see people, so right? They can't get annoyed with me.
I see people here. There's still 11 people watching, it says, but I don't see anybody commenting, which is
Oh no,
weird.
I meant like I don't see people to like
Oh,
annoy
that's
them
dumb.
because we're quarantined. I tell terrible jokes.
No, I'm
Everybody
just
laughs at
kidding.
me.
I'm just a
No,
steady
it's
boy.
not you. It's 100% me.
Did you just pull the not? It's not you. It's me.
Yes, I am a terrible joke teller. So no matter how stoned you get, my jokes will still be bad.
I
So
really want to get into stand-up comedy so bad.
if you're funny, I don't know. Tell
I'm
a
pretty.
joke.
Tell a joke.
Now you have to do it on the spot. Like it's
I get. I'm not a joke. I'm not a joke teller kind of funny person. Like I'm kind of just in the moment. It has to happen. You had to have laughed a few times this video.
I'm stoned. I'm just kidding.
I'm also
Well,
very ridiculous. So there's that. Courtney
yeah.
Courtney the other day said I was what was I doing? Oh, I chopped wood for like 3 hours to help out Courtney's parents. And mom jokes, Jared says. And I come in, I eat dinner, and I was like, oh, I gotta shower. But I should probably stretch so I'm not a sore tomorrow. I'm gonna go do yoga. And Courtney's like, why can't you just stretch? I was like, because I want to go do yoga. She's like, why do you have to be so extra? And I literally like just turned around. I was like, listen, I've always been extra. I'll always be extra. You chose me. Deal with it. I just,
Extra, extra.
I've been trying to think of a joke this whole time, and I can't. I can't do
You want to hear my favorite mom joke?
it. Yes, please.
So every time I cut fruit or cantaloupe, I'm pretty sure I tell this one to my kids. They don't find it funny. But I would say, why couldn't the fruits get married? Because their parents said they can't elope. Ba-dum-bum.
Boom, boom, boom.
Can't elope. Cantaloupe. Can't elope.
I don't think
Cantaloupe.
people got it. I didn't.
Why couldn't the fruits? I said every time I cut fruit. No. I told you mom jokes. I'm not funny.
Well,
This
mom jokes are just oddly funny, the same way dad jokes are. So it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just the way the jokes are designed.
yeah,
I go ahead.
it's designed for the situation when I'm cutting my fruit and the fruits cannot get married because they cantaloupe. Can't. Okay, it's not funny.
That's really not fair when you think about it. I think fruit should be able to be married.
But they can't elope. I guess they have to have
Well,
a big ceremony or something.
it's time to change the name to cantaloupe.
Drop the T. I like it. They can elope. I'm gonna start calling it that. So I'm gonna tell them, my kids, on the What Did Adam Say show, he said the fruits can elope. So now they're cantaloupes.
They should understand. They'll understand.
They're gonna say we don't care, mom. They're like they're loving the quarantine. Most of the time they do miss their friends. But they are on the video games all day. We're like they're not wanting to engage in like school lessons, I guess rightfully so, right? But we're
Yeah,
starting like back next week, but they've been playing a lot of video games. They
listen,
got Minecraft.
listen, listen, listen close. I was very good at video games at one point, and my mom made me do schoolwork instead. I never learned a thing in school, but if I would have kept going with video games, I could probably be a millionaire from it right now.
Very well
Mom.
could be.
So, if your kids are good at video games, encourage that. That's
Yeah.
the moral of my story.
I have to say, yesterday I let Sebastian teach me how to play Minecraft, which I don't really want to play this thing, but he taught me and I was like, "Wow, you're so smart. Like you know all of this." And then if if a child has interest in something, they're going to learn it better. So yeah, it's not really a terrible thing because they are learning so much.
Ja- Jared says two blondes drive to Disney. They get all the way down there. The sign says Disney left, so they turn around and went home. Boom. Hako builds on Minecraft for hours. What up, Hako? Oh, I almost forgot. I almost forgot. Beer baby, guys. We got to show beer baby. So beer baby has only been fertilized with beer, and she's feeling a little dry. Trying to show some blue moon. All right.
Where's your control plan? Does it look that healthy?
I don't know.
Does it look that sick?
Do you want to see my control plan? So
Yes. I need to
re-
compare. I need to see the comparison.
remember the beer baby.
Let's see how healthy this is.
Look at that.
This is
Second,
why it's important to know your growers, right? And to get good product because you never know what somebody's going to put in the soil and then try to
I
give you.
haven't done anything. This is just water. And this is just water and sun. And I have this little like light bulb over here that after it goes dark from like 8 to 11, I put it under the light just for some supplemental. But I have it on the east side of my house in the morning and the west side of my house in the evening just to get sunlight all day. But as you can see, second set of true leaves coming through, already having multiple points, way healthier, way healthier. If you could see the stem, I don't know if it'll, yeah, you can kind of see it. It's fuzzy, super healthy looking, just beautiful. Beer baby, not so much. This is the other control. I have two controls, same thing. Second set of true leaves, looking healthy. So beer might be
We'll
no
see.
bueno for growing plants.
Yeah, I don't think it's really any good.
Did you hear about the dyslexic that walked into the bra?
I need a little tiny like drum set or something.
Kelly said, "Beautiful babies. I'm actually giving them away soon." The control, I never intended for it to survive. It just is doing its thing. So I'm giving it away and starting a couple more. See if so Jared said how old they were started about 10 days 8 days ago. 8 days ago. So there's no excuse for it to be a half an inch tall when the others
Yeah,
are like 4 inches tall.
yeah. My thumbs are not green yet. I'm just starting my journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's surviving the beer baby. So that's got to say something about my green thumb.
Yeah. It's like a magic trick, a magic power, a superpower
I was brainwashed.
into having a superpower green thumb.
Yep.
I would take
Yeah.
that.
My dad has been a head grower of a local nursery since I was like 5 or 4, and he would like literally just go around and point out a dogwood, tell me its genus and species, the Latin terminology for it, when it started flowering and budding, and how tall it got, everything about every plant. Like, and my dad could always do that.
I need that knowledge. I need all of it. I wish that was my life. Like I wish I learned all about plants when I was younger. I wish I would like when I was a kid, we never went outside. It was really terrible. We never went hiking. We never went to any trails. My mom was like, no flowers in the house ever. So my green thumb journey is like literally just beginning. So please give
Well, if
me
you
all.
need help, I know some guys.
Well, I'm
So,
hoping that I can just, spend some time in lovely on a lovely farm picking some leaves, start from the bottom. Like I'm just gonna pick the leaves because that's all I can be trusted to do right now.
well, I
Not
mean,
picking the leaves, but you know
we
what I mean.
we are on the precipice of getting a golf course. So, we'd be turning the golf course into a hemp farm, and we'll need a lot of farm hands. So, if you'd like to come help out, you can.
I would.
There's gonna
I
be
just
over 3,000 plants.
that sounds like like a lot.
It's something. we
Like I'm like one plant, please live, survive for me.
I
Then
can't
you're like
kill a
3,000
plant.
plants.
I literally can't kill plant. I'm only giving this thing beer and it won't die.
See, outside, like if you just throw seeds in the yard, like my yard will grow it. But inside, for me to put it into a pot, it's like,
No bueno.
oh, well, I'm getting there.
No
I'm in the
bueno.
process of learning, so
Almost bueno.
almost.
I do not hear thunder, Hako. It's actually really nice here.
I know there's supposed to be like there were at 3, I think there were like tornado warnings. So, but it was supposed to end at 10. So I was like, oh, we're almost there. But the
Kelly,
weather's been
Kelly says she's down to help at the farm. All right, I'm holding you to that. I said that on here, so there's proof. It's coming, Hako says. Yes, that's what she said.
But
Um,
my house can so supposedly my house can withstand a tornado. I don't know. The lady who sold it to us was convinced that if there was any tornadoes that came, this house would be the last one standing. So I'll take her on that.
you're like, I don't want to test it.
Yeah, no, I don't. But it's a very interesting house. I don't know if you guys can see it right. Can you? Ooh. So it's a log house, and I'm not sure if Native Americans like built it or if it was just people from the Cape, but like in the early 90s, the people like lived in a teepee while they built the house, and like everything was perfectly fit, and like all of the pegs and stuff were like cut, and I don't know. So there's like hardly any nails in this house, but like the way everything was built is like built to last. There's actually no drywall in my house either. It's all wood, and then there's cement downstairs.
Interesting. Yeah, I like your fireplace in the backdrop there. I've never been to your house, surprisingly.
No.
We'll have to have
When
like
a party, yeah, huge party. I can't wait until I can have a huge party. Or we can have a small party
a
for
couple of
now.
small parties.
A couple of small parties. I have horseshoes. We can play horseshoes. Set up a volleyball net. If
Smoke.
I ever open a pool, I don't know, my pool is a pain in the butt. So there's fun things that we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's already been an hour, if you can believe it. I'm surprised that I got through that. Before I came on this, I was all kinds of flustered. Like I was just like, I can't believe nothing's working. Ah!" But we figured out solutions as entrepreneurs and play volleyball, like Jared says. um, and push our ways through it and have an amazing show. This was actually one of my highest viewed shows, I think, for the live stream. Um, I don't know, maybe content wise, maybe because I was able to share it to more spaces, maybe a combination of both, but I'm gonna blame it on mostly you. So,
I hope
thank you.
so.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to plug to the listeners and watchers?
I plugged a High Curious and I plugged the
Ooh,
Flickers.
actually, I want to talk about High Curious a little bit. I meant to, that clicked in my brain, and I wanted to talk about that. So before we leave, sorry guys. High High Curious. Tell us a little bit about that.
The High Curious app, it's available on Apple and on for Android, and it's also web-based, but it's a new app where it's a cannabis-friendly community where you can post or ask questions about cannabis, how you use cannabis in your everyday life, or you know, cooking, hiking, just sort of everyday living and how you incorporate cannabis into your life. It's a safe place to share because there are certain industries that don't allow people to publicly share about their cannabis and experiences. So on Facebook, Instagram, they don't really like cannabis people anyway on their site. So this is like a whole new thing where it's like share whatever you want about, you can share anything. It's not going to get taken down or censored as long as it's kind and loving. So you can't be mean to anybody. But they also do live streams. So there are like shows. And I'm actually going to be starting one maybe next month. And it's going to be called Healthy, Not High with Ashley. So we can explore non psychoactive uses of cannabis. But you should download the app and then you can find me and friend request me. There are some really cool shows right now. There's I don't know if you know the Mommy Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Jess Jessie Gonzalez, I think is her name, in California. She is on there. She has a show Monday mornings. And then there's also Kim B. I don't know. She's from New York.
Kim's
She,
amazing.
yeah, she is I love watching her shows, right? So she is amazing. So she's on there as well. And so we're really trying to build that app and like get more people into it and have the really cool content and be a cannabis friendly place for all, no matter where you're from, you can come and join. Hi,
Nice.
curious.
Anything else you'd like to plug?
Thank you so much. I should just say, like, thank you. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. It makes it so I don't want to just sit here and talk to myself. Like I'd rather like reconnect with people, go live, learn more about people, and provide value to other people, like it's all good.
Oh wait, I forgot something.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
everybody's like, um, so my responsible vendor training class is online in an online module. So that was actually one really good thing that came out of this COVID-19 quarantine, is that it gave me the time to do that, submit it. And so now you can take responsible vendor training online, on demand. And for a special time, I'm offering it for $19 because the adult use industry has taken a real hit and I want to be able to provide that, but the online on demand is regularly 75, so $19 is a really good deal. So if you're curious, you can check that out. Learnwithquality.com. That's where that
Nice.
you can find that.
Yeah,
That's
definitely
it.
check that out. Definitely worth checking out. And if you enjoyed the show tonight, make sure to like the Facebook page you're watching it on, to subscribe to Twitch if you're watching on there, subscribe to YouTube, or subscribe to the audio. This shit is everywhere at this point. So make sure you subscribe and keep up. We're on Monday through Friday. I might come up live tomorrow and do my guitar lesson. I'll have you know I've been getting pretty good at guitar. So maybe I'll come on here and do my guitar lesson. But besides that, thank you so much, Ashley. Thank y'all for watching. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Good vibes to you. Peace.